Please join me in welcoming another important leader of our institution, Chief Alumni Officer and Executive Director of the Wisconsin Alumni Association, Sarah Schutt.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to campus and happy homecoming week. Since 1936, the Wisconsin Alumni Association has honored more than 300 outstanding graduates with Distinguished Alumni Awards. The Distinguished Alumni Award is the highest honor bestowed on our graduates of UW-Madison, and the award recognizes significant achievements and contributions of our most accomplished alumni. This year's group of 4 distinguished alumni marks the last class of honorees for Paula Bonner, who led the Wisconsin Alumni Association for the past 17 years. I'd like to take a moment now and invite you to join me in acknowledging Paula's tremendous contributions to campus and to alumni. We're grateful to have the opportunity to present these awards at the Chancellor's annual luncheon. At a time when public higher education faces great challenges, Chancellor Rebecca Blank continues her strong advocacy on behalf of UW-Madison. She has worked to build an institution that can thrive in the coming decades, maintaining its position as a global leader in research, student success, diversity, and sustainability. And she has emphasized the role of the university in driving economic development. As a frequent speaker on the importance of public research universities, Chancellor Blank has been a part of a vital national conversation about how to keep universities financially stable and flourishing. To help us celebrate our distinguished alumni, I invite Chancellor Blank to join me now on stage. First, I'd like to recognize Jim Burke. He's a clinical assistant professor at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health and an emergency physician at the Veterans Hospital. But he started his career as an IBM systems engineer. In 1993, Jim founded Burke Information Networks in his basement. And as the business grew, clients included IBM, Microsoft, and Cisco. A 4-time Ironman triathlete, Jim once broke his collarbone during training, kind of like Aaron Rodgers. And the care he received inspired an interest in emergency medicine. So, after selling his business, he attended Stanford University's School of Medicine and earned his MD in 2010. He completed his residency in emergency medicine at the UW hospitals and clinics. Jim says, and I quote, "The wonderful thing about medicine is it really gives you a direct sense of what the needs and problems are in a community." Jim is also founder of the Burke Derby 10K Run and 5K Run Walk, now a Thanksgiving Day tradition in Madison. Proceeds support the Technology Education Foundation, which seeks to alleviate the digital divide. Jim and his wife, Karen Walsh, support human health and welfare projects through the Burke Walsh Foundation, including a $10 million gift to the UW Medical School's Department of Emergency Medicine. This gift has been transformational for faculty, staff, and patients. Jim serves as a trustee for WARF, the Morgridge Institute for Research, and the Wiesel Research Institute. Jim, with a profound sense of appreciation for all of your remarkable support, service, and accomplishments, we present you with this 2017 Distinguished Alumni Award. Please join me on stage, and please join me in congratulating Jim Burke.
Wow, what a thrill to be with all of you in this room today for this lunch. Thank you. The University of Wisconsin has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. My father was a professor of forestry at the UW, and my mother was a researcher. My first experience as a student was in mechanical engineering, where I got my undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, and I tell everybody it's the hardest thing that I've ever done until my residency program at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Maybe most important is I actually met my wife here at the university. I met my wife in the basement of the engineering research building, the internal combustion lab. For all of you, one of the most romantic places on campus. The university has been, as I said, part of my family for as long as I can remember. My wife, Karen, and I, we never expect to be able to repay the university for everything that has been done for our family. But I will tell you this, we expect to spend the rest of our life trying. Thank you.
Our next honoree, Robert Bergman, is a pioneering organic chemist whose findings have led to numerous commercial and medical applications, including better treatments for depression, HIV, and alcoholism. He discovered a reaction that is known as the Bergman cyclization that's had major implications for the pharmaceutical industry. In 1981, Bob led a team that discovered a new group of organometallic complexes that sever carbon-hydrogen bonds. This created an entirely new subfield of chemistry, virtually overnight. In recent years, Bob has focused on green chemistry, which seeks to minimize the use and production of hazardous materials. Bob began teaching at the California Institute of Technology in 1967 and became a professor at the University of California at Berkeley 10 years later. In 2007, he won the National Academy of Sciences Award in Chemical Sciences, the top award the Academy gives to a chemist. He is also a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the California Academy of Sciences. Most recently, Bob won the 2017 Wolf Prize in Chemistry. The Wolf Awards are regarded as second only to the Nobel Prize. Bob has more than 575 publications and 8 patents to his name. He has earned some 24 awards for his research and teaching, as well as honorary doctorates from Texas A&M University and Carleton College. Bob founded the Bay Area Scientists in Schools program, which provides science outreach for elementary school students. Although he has emeritus status, Professor Bergman remains active in research, teaching, and outreach. Bob, we are bursting with Badger pride as we offer you this 2017 Distinguished Alumni Award. Congratulations.
Well, after the first talk by Jim, I feel rather humble being up here. So I'll tell you a little bit about my background, and then I'd like to say a word or two about failure and success. I grew up in Chicago. I went to Carleton College, and I actually wound up in a sort of middle tier of chemists in my undergraduate school. Unlike Jim, I didn't get into Stanford graduate school. So I went to Wisconsin, right? In my view, the best thing Stanford ever did for me. I arrived in the summer of 1963 with a teaching appointment. I worked in an old chemistry building with no fume hoods in the middle of the summer in taking a course called Qual Organic. It was so hot that diethyl ether on the shelves actually boiled. Fortunately, that building is gone, but I think that experience recognizes how important it is for universities to be able to build modern state-of-the-art facilities, and I'm really more than pleased to see that the chemistry department is currently just about ready to break ground on one, thanks to a lot of people at this university who have supported that effort. So I took a number of important courses, but probably the best experience I had was with my research advisor, Jerome Burson. Jerry was an absolutely terrific research advisor. Those of you who don't know much about chemistry or other physical sciences, I'll just say that they're really a collaborative effort where everybody works together. It's really important to have a good research mentor to train graduate students. I met my wife, Wendy, at Carleton. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. But after I started in 1963, she joined me in 1965. We were poor as church mice. We had no car. I rode my bike to the lab, even in the dead of winter, bundled up to make sure no skin was showing. We had very little money, one old record player for entertainment. But we fell in love with the university. We fell in love with Madison. Professionally and personally, those were some of the best years of our lives. And I owe this school and this town a lot for that. Although we can't repay it at the level that I think Jim is able to. We are really doing our best to do that. I wanted to say something about success and failure. The hardest thing for many people to understand, especially for young scientists, and to get used to, is that failure is a critical part of the scientific enterprise. It may seem that failed experiments or theories are a waste of time and money, but on the contrary, these false steps are a way that scientists, and I would guess artists as well, learn which directions are not correct and lead them to the paths that ultimately solve problems and result in completely unanticipated discoveries. So the Distinguished Alumni Award is a reward for few notable successes, but also for many failures, which we don't mention often enough. This unpredictability of intellectual pursuit is why, in my view, the best way to support science and art is to reward the best people and give them the freedom to follow their inspiration. So I'll close by just acknowledging the people in my life and career who've understood this relationship between failure and success. Besides my PhD and postdoctoral mentors, Jerry Burson and Ron Breslow, most importantly are my family, my wife, Wendy, who unfortunately couldn't be here, as I said, and our sons, Dave and Michael, who experienced indirectly the frustrations inherent in the failures that ultimately led to success. Finally, most science, as I also mentioned, is a collaborative effort. So a huge amount of credit goes to my students, my colleagues, and postdoctoral workers like Chuck Casey and Jen Shoemaker, who've both been willing to join me at the table today. I'm grateful to Casey's, Chuck and Martha, for nominating me for this award. And I think that they are the people who really, especially my coworkers, are the people who really were responsible for all of the experiments and many of the ideas represented by our work. Thank you.
Danae Davis has spent her career helping the most vulnerable and promoting education as a tool for social justice. She worked as legal counsel for Wisconsin Governor Tony Earl and sought to promote diversity as an executive at Miller Brewing and Kraft Foods. She was a member of the UW System Board of Regents from 2003 to 2011, and she earned the Outstanding Woman of Color in Education Award from the UW System. As Executive Director and CEO of Pearls for Teen Girls, Danae served at-risk African American girls in Milwaukee. In 2014, 97% of the 1,300 girls in the program graduated from high school and were accepted to at least one college, and 99% avoided teen pregnancy. In 2015, Danae joined Milwaukee Succeeds, part of the Greater Milwaukee Foundation. There, she is leading the effort to enhance education by focusing on children's readiness to learn from kindergarten through college and career. This community partnership has showed promising results, especially in improving third-grade reading skills. Danae was recently named a Woman of Influence by the Milwaukee Business Journal and attended a prestigious program for nonprofit leaders at the Harvard Business School. She chairs the board of 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, which seeks to make the city more inclusive. Danae also chairs the board of Strive Together, a national nonprofit network that works to improve U.S. educational outcomes from cradle to career. Danae, with a sincere sense of admiration and gratitude for all you do, we present you with this 2017 Distinguished Alumni Award. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Danae Davis.
Thank you, Sarah, Chancellor Rebecca Blank, and the selection committee for this nomination and selection of me for this prestigious award. And additionally, I sincerely thank family and friends who are so very important in my life. And I want to thank my son, particularly, who traveled all the way from Houston to be with his mother for this honor today. I also want to thank my friends and colleagues who have also traveled from far and wide, maybe not so far, but wide. Your love is priceless and very much appreciated. So 37 years ago, wow, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin Law School. And I remember being excited about traveling to our nation's capital for my first job upon graduation with my law degree. And my title was attorney advisor, and I was a hearing examiner for a small federal agency called the Federal Service Impasses Panel. I was 21 years old. My law school education and experience prepared me then and throughout my career to be impactful, curious, courageous, and willing to try new experiences. I was a non-traditional law grad. I am a non-traditional law grad. And while at the UW Law School, I discovered that I did not want to practice law in the traditional way. Rather, my passion lay with related interests in things like collective bargaining, mediation, labor relations. And at the core of that was a love for problem solving and helping others to seek solutions. So I am an example of the University of Wisconsin's strength in helping students build skills that last a lifetime. The law school experience offered real life and world experiences, shaping confidence in my place in the world as a contributing member. For example, I got to do the Legal Assistance to Inmates project. It probably has another name now. I clerked for former Chief Justice Shirley Abramson while in law school. I also clerked with the National Labor Relations Board. Those opportunities are indeed priceless and shaped my view of the world. Being part of a public higher education institution that valued discourse, advocacy, and making a positive difference in the world was truly amazing. Today, I am still earnestly valuing these skills. I honed, as I mentioned, from my law school experience. And for this, I will be forever grateful. Above all else, as I experienced 37 years ago and have proudly said every year thereafter, the most important attribute and legacy of the University of Wisconsin Law School is its steadfast and consistent record of diversity. Amongst UW departments and nationally, UW Law School has maintained an outstanding record of admission and graduation of students of color, and I am very, very proud to be one. Thank you.
As the former Senior Executive Vice President for CBS Primetime, Kelly Call oversaw the planning and scheduling of all primetime programming. He helped to build a schedule that included hits such as Survivor, Blue Bloods, Everybody Loves Raymond, The Big Bang Theory, and CSI. These popular programs have helped to ensure that CBS ranked #1 in viewers for 14 of the last 15 seasons. Kelly was promoted to president of CBS Entertainment this past May and now leads the network's entertainment division. He signed on at CBS in 1996 after several years at Warner Brothers Television. Prior to that, he was with Lorimar Television, starting as an intern and quickly rising through the ranks as a research analyst and manager. Kelly, whose Twitter handle is @CallieBadger, now everybody's going to tweet you, is well known for his love of Wisconsin sports, and he serves on the UW's Communication Arts Partners Board. He often hosts UW events at his home and at the bar he owns, the Underground Pub. And he also has established a CBS internship program for UW students. Ryan Holtz, this year's intern, says, quote, "Kelly's promotion happened just as I was arriving at CBS for the summer, but he was still able to keep his door open for each and every minute question that I had. It's obvious that he provides this internship to give back to the campus he loves." Kelly, as a sign of how much this campus loves you in return, we're deeply honored to present you with the 2017 Distinguished Alumni Award. Please join me in congratulating Kelly Call.
Maybe a few more Twitter followers now, huh? Thank you. On the same day in May that my boss, Leslie Moonves, called and asked me if I'd be interested in becoming president of CBS Entertainment, I received another call a little later in the day from Paula Bonner. She told me I'd been selected as a UW Distinguished Alumni. My first thought, of course, was that somebody was playing a very wicked practical joke on me. And my second thought was I should go buy a lottery ticket. This was clearly my lucky day. I quickly figured that I really didn't need to buy a ticket because I had already won the lottery twice in one day. Becoming the president of CBS, a storied and legendary broadcaster, one I used to study when I was in school here, was and continues to be an incredible honor. But to be honest, getting that call from Paula rendered me speechless. In addition to this year's tremendous honorees, Jim, Robert, and Danae, the names from the past are staggering. Pioneers in science and medicine, captains of industry, Pulitzer and Nobel Prize winners, governors and senators, tireless public servants, commissioner of baseball, all from this incredible special institution that we love. It is extremely humbling to now be on the list with these amazing individuals. While I'm very proud of my career in television, I guess a major reason I'm up here is for trying to give back a little. For the last dozen years, I've brought students from, communication students from UW out to LA for the summer. I've tried to give them some exposure to the TV business, which can be a pretty tough nut to crack, especially from 2,000 miles away. And I'm happy to report that almost all have found work in the entertainment industry, which is reward in itself. And while it sounds like a giant cliche, in trying to help this younger generation, there's no question they've helped me. So thanks, Alexis, Jason, Alexa, Mallory, Daniel, Kendall, Haley, Caitlin, Emily, James, and Ryan. You all keep me young and energized. Also thanks to Mary Rossa in the Comm Arts Department. She's an absolute gem, and her tireless work makes these internships and budding careers possible. And I'd like to encourage all of you who might be in a position to give back to do so in some way. I know my friends at the foundation and perhaps the chancellor would love me to say a check is a great way to give back, which it is. But believe me that helping a recent grad or current UW student with a job opportunity or an internship can be richly rewarding. In closing, I'd like to thank the Alumni Association, my family and incredible friends, several of whom are here to share this special day with me, my mom and dad, this is gonna be hard, whose support never wavered, even when I told them I wanted to pursue a crazy dream in television way out in California. You've always been in my corner. My sons Kyle and Thomas, who couldn't be here because they are pursuing their own dreams at the University of Oregon and Boston University, two okay schools. My brother Corey, another proud UW alum, and my wife Kim, a Villanova grad, who doesn't quite understand but still puts up with all this Badger stuff. A couple years ago, we were having a wonderful afternoon wine tasting in Northern California, a picture-perfect day at a small but beautiful winery up in the hills above Napa. We struck up a conversation with the wine steward, who after a little good-natured chit-chat mentioned she was a UW grad. My wife looked at me, shook her head a little bit, and said, "My God, you people are everywhere." Yes, we are. Thank you.